You're watching Venture Forward, a video series about vehicle-supported adventure, backcountry exploration, and full-time mobile living. Join us as we discover scenic and interesting places both on and off the beaten path. It's early September 2022 and I'm in eastern Ontario, making my way southwest and doing some exploring along the way. Last night I found this great dispersed campsite off of a 2-track, not too far from the paved highway, but just remote enough to be perfectly private and very quiet. It's spacious and sandy with a primitive stone fire ring, accessible to almost any vehicle, and the cell service is pretty good too. I watched a movie on my iPad last night. The Jeep's running pretty well. I drove 4 hours yesterday out of Quebec, and there's still the weird hesitation in certain conditions that I mentioned in last week's video. There's also an occasional pop from the front end. Neither issue seems to be severe, but I am keeping an eye on it, and I do want to drop it off at a shop when I get back into the States. As I was leaving the gas station yesterday, I did, however, leave my gas cap on the rear bumper, and in the next day or two I'm going to have to stop at an auto parts shop to get a new one. For the time being, I've got a piece of aluminum foil covering the fuel nozzle just to prevent any of the rain from getting in. It's not the fuel getting out that worries me. There's rain in the forecast, just don't want rain getting in. Really putting the camera's stabilization to the test. We'll have to see how this turns out. Sorry if there's too much motion. I made my way to Missinaibi Provincial Park in eastern Ontario, and this place is exquisite. First of all, to get here, you have to follow 75 kilometers of backcountry dirt road. And then finally, after over an hour of driving, the gatehouse and store appears for the campgrounds and the boat launch and the day use area. I got here after hours last night and I was able to use the Wi-Fi, make a reservation online, and then go directly to my campsite. It worked out well because I was able to drive around and see what campsites I liked, and then I went back to the gatehouse and made my reservation. I'm at Site 9 at Campground A, which I'm extremely happy with. It's down a short lane, it offers a ton of privacy, there's a footpath to the bathroom, and there's a footpath down to the water. I think I got lucky that it was available because it seems to be one of the nicest and most private campsites in the campground. Right away I discovered that my campsite, Campsite 9, has a secret path to the bathrooms. Believe it or not, this is a really nice shortcut. I didn't know it was a fee campground until I got here, but it is nice having the amenities, and if you do come here, you absolutely have to come out onto the water. I'm out exploring in my Kokopelli Roguelite Pack Raft right now, and it is just a perfect day. This is Missinaibi Lake, and it's fed by the river of the same name. It's deep in a boreal forest, and the shores on both sides are lined with impressive rock formations. You can choose to stay at the campground, or you can get a backcountry camping permit and camp on one of the islands out on the lake somewhere. Trying to shoot video and manage a pack raft. At the same time, it does not work out so well. I am coming up on an island, and I brought lunch with me, figuring I'd stop somewhere during my float and make lunch. This might be a good spot. It's one of the backcountry campsites. There's even a picnic table. This will do nicely. Really cool designated tent site on an island with a picnic table by the water, a fire ring with a grill, and great views all around. Today for lunch, I am having Backpacker's Pantry fettuccine alfredo with chicken. This will recharge me for the trip back to the campground, but should be pretty easy because it's both downstream and downwind. moose. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I'm sorry I don't have my good camera. I'm back on pavement and heading westbound after a wonderful 2 days in Missinaibi Provincial Park and Chapleau Game Preserve. If you're looking for a place to go in Ontario that's really not too far from Michigan's Upper Peninsula, that feels very remote and very wild, definitely head up this way. The scenery here is incredible, especially at the onset of fall. The temperatures are just right, there are no bugs, and I did see one moose. I got my gas cap situation sorted. When I was passing through Chapleau back there, I stopped at a gas station which was full service. The gentleman who was filling me up walked away for a moment, and when he came back, he had what was presumably someone else's lost gas cap. I don't know what kind of vehicle it was from, but it was a perfect fit and it had a tether and everything. So we are good to go. I don't even have to stop at an auto parts store. Thank you, gas station dude. I'm at Agawa Bay Campground in Lake Superior Provincial Park in eastern Ontario, right on the eastern shore of Lake Superior. This is my second fee campground and provincial park this week, and no complaints here because this is beautiful. First of all, this campground is very large, very popular, but it's very clean and well maintained. There are at least a couple hundred sites that wind their way through the trees up and down the shore, and every site has a fire ring, a picnic table, and some even have electric hookups. That's the beach directly behind me, and as you can see, a sunset is pretty much a sure thing every night. The beach is large, it's spacious, and the water on Lake Superior is crystal clear. I'm going to do more walking around tomorrow, but I'm very happy with where I ended up tonight. This is phenomenal. Lake Superior had never really been on my bucket list. Sure, I wanted to see it, but I didn't know that there was quite this much splendor. If Lake Superior Provincial Park in Ontario isn't already on your bucket list, maybe it should be. I'm out doing a little bit of hiking myself today, exploring the coast north of camp. I'm about 2 miles away from the Jeep. The trail's right along the lake, so it's been pretty low impact so far, although my foot, which I broke 2 months ago, is aching a little bit, so I'm probably overdoing it. Doesn't matter, it's worth it. You know, the eastern shore of Lake Superior sort of reminds me of the coast in the Pacific Northwest. Just a little bit. It's mostly coniferous and it's very rocky. You have these jagged islands that are just popping up along the shore. That was a heaping mound of spaghetti that I had for dinner tonight. It was very good, but pasta very consistently ends up being more than I expected. Still, although it was very simple, it was nice to take the time to prepare a substantial meal. I don't do that nearly often enough. After dinner, I just hung out on the beach and enjoyed the sunset. The temperature's perfect, the air is crystal clear, there's no bugs whatsoever. September in many parts of the US and Canada is in that Goldilocks zone. It's just a little seasonal window where everything is perfect. Alright, I'm going to call that a wrap. And this episode concludes my 3-week excursion into Canada. I miss Shannon and Finnegan dearly. I haven't seen them in 3 weeks. We were in touch this week, and we made plans to reconnect this weekend. She's currently in New York State, and I'm in southern Ontario, so we're both going to drive about 10 hours this weekend and converge to the southwest. From there, I don't know, but I do know 2 things. One, I want to put a little bit more effort into getting the Jeep in a good place. Even after the new engine and all of the tender loving care I gave it this past summer, it's just not instilling a lot of confidence yet. And also I want to make a doctor's appointment to have someone check on my foot. It's been 8 weeks since I fractured my foot, and it's just not back yet. I'm sure it's healing, but I think it'd be smart to just see how it's coming along. Alright, so just as a reminder, my detailed GPS data is available to Patreon subscribers, and I have points of interest available on the THATCH travel app for iOS and Android. I'll put links to Patreon and THATCH in the description for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed this extremely scenic episode in Eastern Ontario. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next week.